Regine Hunter is a 10-year industry veteran, colorist, educator, and cosmetology school instructor. Today, we're going to hear her story, how she got to where she is, and the steps that she took along the way. Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert Hughes, and I am your host. And today, I'm Regine Hunter. How you doing today, Regine?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm so good, thank you. So, for everybody listening and watching, I met Regine at a class. We had Wella sent Regine over to our salon, and we started chatting. And we worked. I used to work for the company that Regine works for, and we started talking about the company. We started talking about the future, and then it turns out that you're a cosmetology school instructor, which is very close and dear to the Hairdresser Strong Show because we're always interested in gaining new and fresh insight into the minds and hearts of the future generation. And so I thought we should have you on the show, and you were like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm excited to have you. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's hear your story. Tell us like why you got into hair and like in the process that you took, and I'll ask questions along the way.
Perfect. Well, honestly, it's very simple for me. I literally, of course, growing up, you always hear it's good to go to college, it's good to get the college experience and also the college education, get you a good government job and you'll be set, right? So that was the plan. I went to college and went there for 3 years and decided it was not for me. I was very blessed to have parents that believed in going after, what you believe in, what you feel like is your gift, right? What you feel like you really want to do for the rest of your life. So once I told them that I wanted to do hair, first of all, they were like, "We already knew that. You should have just went to hair school in the first place." And I was like, "Okay," but of course they were like, "Whatever you do next, you need to stick to it. It's not gonna be any of this jumping around." And I was like, "Okay, we're gonna make hair work." So once I left school, I decided to go to Paul Mitchell. Went to Paul Mitchell, great experience. Graduated in a year and
Which
literally
Paul Mitchell did you go to?
the Tyson's Corner location.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
And that was back in 2014. And literally ever since then, I just feel like doors have just been opening up, of course, with hard work and dedication, behind it. But literally, I just feel like once I got into doing hair, it just solidified that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is where I'm supposed to be at, like when you're walking in your purpose, like things just happen for you, of course.
So can I want to talk on that for a second. So I just did an interview where I was the person being interviewed, and I've only done that. It was only my second time, and they started asking me questions that I have never really answered on camera, and I said the same thing. I said that, in my career, things just kind of like it was all my relationships and doors opening and being faithful and walking through them. And but the part that you mentioned is also, I think, is a very important part for anybody watching or listening, that these doors were opening, but you mentioned that it was hard work and dedication. And I want to make sure that no one missed those words that came out of your mouth, because
Yeah,
it's not like you're just sitting there waiting around for someone to like walk up to you and give you something. Is that right, or am I off on that
absolutely.
one? Okay.
You are absolutely right because, of course, once you graduate cosmetology school, um, I know some people wait to take their tests, their, licensing test, but I went straight away. And once I got to the company that I'm at right now, I was already licensed, but they start you off as a tech, as an assistant, So for a lot of people that's like finishing school, they're like, "Oh, I'm ready to get on the floor. I'm ready to start building my book." And the company that I'm at, they start you at the bottom, okay? That was hard, and I feel like for a lot of people that that is hard to walk into because you do feel like, you have that, success of going to cosmetology school and getting your license, and you feel like you have that experience, especially depending on what school you go to. Paul Mitchell, you're seeing people 8 out of the 12 months that you're at school, right? You're building your clientele already. So with that experience, I was like, I definitely could go somewhere where I felt like I could go ahead and start building my or continuing to build my client list. But going to the company that I'm at right now, it's like it taught me all aspects of the salon experience, right? So, literally from sweeping the floor after someone else or cleaning someone's bowls after someone else did color, and me just like, looking and still learning, of course, and going through their schooling process as well because again they believe in education, but at the same time it's like, I just finished school, I got my license already, you want me to go through school again, you know so definitely it was a it was I can't figure out the word to say, but it was definitely like a, "Oh, okay. I get that I'm still new in this industry." Um, and then, of course, once you finish the schooling with the company that I'm at now, you get on the floor and you still have those struggles, and you still have those fears. You still have that those insecure moments of like, dang, like, is this for me? Like, is this where I'm supposed to be at? Or am I doing this right? Like, am I keeping up with trends? Like, it's all of those, thoughts that still go through your head, and you just fight through them because you feel either you need this to work or you want it to work, you know?
So would you say that, I mean, because you're touching on something that's very much, how do I say this? It comes up when I talk to rising stylists or even salon owners, is this like friction where with the students graduate, they get out of school and then they're told they need to train some more.
Mhm.
And are you seeing that in schools, like the students are they even, at what point do they become aware of it? Do they walk through your doors aware that after school they're probably going to need to do some more training at the majority of salons, charging, a certain amount of money or higher? I mean, that's how I see it. Am I, one, do you see something different than what I'm seeing? Two, do you see, and what are you seeing with those students on that topic?
I'm going to be very honest. This new generation, they are ready to get out there and kill it, like straight away. They are expecting cosmetology school to give them all of the knowledge, all of the experience that they need to, once they finish cosmetology school, they are ready to go out into the real world and start and fire off, which was a very different experience from when I was in school. It could have just been me. I could be the oddball out, the weird apple out of the bunch, but I definitely think you see a lot more students wanting to just like get straight into having their own studio, and building their book that way with, of course, with Instagram as well. Um, but rather than going to a company where they would start, like I said, from the bottom and be an assistant and work your way up. Like this new generation is just like they're a different type of go-getters, honestly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So I don't want to get too far into this because I still want to hear your story. Maybe we can have this conversation specific to this topic. But I do, before we move back into your journey. I'm curious to know this one thing. Uh, I want to know if you saw what I saw, because if you did, that kind of will help with this theory that I'm working on. And the whole goal of this theory is to help bridge the gap between salons and students and make ensure higher success of the future generation as they move into the workforce, since they are doing it so differently and they're approaching it so differently. And I'm just concerned. I just want to make sure that when they're doing it, they're going fully equipped into the world and making the decisions very informed decisions so that they know what they're getting into, etc. Now, okay, I have seen, tell me if you've seen this or you disagree with this. I have seen since before COVID, I was going to schools, talking to the students, maybe like 2 years till now. And of course, there was a few years that I missed because of COVID, and then the schools weren't having guest speakers. But what I've noticed is that a lot less students want to go straight into a suite than they used to. And I don't know if it was COVID, or I'd like to think it was conversations like this, more and more people talking about like the hashtag real life versus hashtag best life. You know,
Mhm.
like what do we actually have to do to get to the best life? And so anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Do you not are you not seeing that, or would you say that more kids are willing to go or and want to go and work at a salon and less want to go straight into a suite? Or no, you're not seeing that?
I'm not seeing the or wanting to go straight into a salon.
Okay.
Like, I'm seeing more,
Okay.
aspects of independency,
Okay.
where they just, like, they want their own space, they wanna be in charge of everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So because I've been seeing like 50, it uh used to be like, I don't know, over 50% wanted to go into a suite,
Mhm.
70% at one point, and I feel like it's gone down to less than 50%. It's still high, but you're not seeing that. You're seeing more than 50% want to go independent.
Yes.
Okay, then I definitely wanna dig into that conversation more,
Mhm.
but we'll come back to that. Okay,
Okay.
so you go to school and, you get out of school, and then you decide that you're going to put 2 feet on the bus and, join a company and go through the program,
Mhm.
and, it sounds like you've experienced some success with that.
Mhm.
You had to go through some, emotional, challenges through with that development process, so, like, at what point in time did you like feel like, one, did you even feel this way? And if you did, when did you feel this way? Like you earned it. Like you were like, ah,
Mhm.
I get it. Why all that work was so good for me. One, did that even happen? And two, when did it happen, if it did?
It did not.
Okay.
And it still has not happened. Um, Honestly, I feel like I have always when it comes to hair, because I care so much about what I'm doing, I don't wanna say I second guess myself a lot, but I definitely, don't have the confidence of someone that's like, "Oh, I've been in the industry for 10 years. I have all of these accolades." Like, you know, I I still walk into rooms and I'm like, "Lord, am I meant to be here? Like, how did I get here?" You know? Um, it's I feel like having moments like that or even having that feeling of like not necessarily I don't belong here or like how did I get here, more so of like I'm going to make sure I prove to myself that I'm in the right place. Like I I am supposed to be here. I'm here for a reason. Like I feel like I am definitely more on the proving to myself that all of this is happening for a reason and I'm in these positions whether I'm like I feel like I deserve it or not, you know?
What
Um,
about what about maybe not deserving, but what about like, was there ever a point where you kind of had gained a new perspective on your journey with an appreciation of of the path that you took, or do you think that you maybe didn't need to do that path to get to where you are? And
No, I
maybe
definitely think the path that I took, um, fed into the feelings that I have about, being in the positions that I'm in, only because, like, going to school for 3 years, it's like, "Dang, I was so close." Like, I was only a year away from graduating with a bachelor's degree, like, I could have stuck it out. So, with having that feeling of, like, should I have stayed or did I make the right decision of, you know, going after my dreams, it's like I always have that thought in the back of my head, like, you can't give up because what if you're that close again? Like, what if you never know what's on the other side of that extra year or the extra 2 years that I'm gonna put into this, like, definitely going through that, it's like, it just makes me feel like I can't give up again. I have to keep
totally,
going. Yeah, if I didn't go through that, I would never have that drive that I have now of, like, you quit before, you can't do it again. And I think I don't know if my parents installed that into me after I quit college, but definitely it's like quitting is not an option.
totally.
Yeah.
So, what about your experience going through the training and apprenticeship program? Do you think that experience did you ever have a moment where you're like that experience of doing my assisting and apprenticing after school? Did you ever have a moment where you're like, I'm so glad that I did that, or you're like, I wish I did not have to do that?
Gosh, yes. I am forever grateful for that experience of literally going through pretty much an apprenticeship program after cosmetology school. Especially with the company that I'm with, only because like I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Okay, so Paul Mitchell is a great foundational education, right? They teach you, I'm not sure if it's the same thing now, but as far as like, for example, with cutting, they teach you how to cut straight lines while the hair is wet, and then you dry it, and then you detail it, right? Which for me took me at least 2 hours to do 1 haircut, right? At least, depending on how much hair they had. But going through the apprenticeship program that I went through at the company, they taught me how to detail the haircut as I was cutting it, which cut the service time literally in half, you know? And I just think back all the time, like if I had a went and got my own studio or just rented out a chair somewhere, I would have never, 1, continued my education. 2, I would have never, you know, known to like, okay, there's different ways in doing this, instead of just like, this is what I learned, I'm going to stick with that. Cause that's how I am. I am very like, you show me something, that is what I'm going to follow. Right. But
Totally.
definitely being at the company that I'm at, it has taught me to like, it's not just your way or the highway. It's so many different avenues out here that you can do different things. So if I did not go through that experience, I don't think I would have the mindset that I do now.
That's awesome. Okay, so you go through the apprenticeship program, you get onto
Mhm.
the floor, and how did you get into education?
Honestly, education was never a part of the plan. That's why I feel like, doors just open and I was like, okay, like I'll try it. But literally, I was just minding my own business, happy, happy la la land, figuring out my stylist life. And the owner of the company that I work for came to me and he was like, we're losing one of our educators and we need someone to replace her. Um, she's, first of all, the educator that we lost, she has like skyrocketed since she's gone from our company. She's in LA now. I think she's like Kim Kardashian's, like, assistant hairstylist or something like she is, like, flourishing, but, we were losing her, but seeing as though like where she's at, like I knew she was amazing. So I'm like, y'all want me to replace? I'm like, I don't know anything about teaching. And the owner was like, we can put you through training and everything. Just, see if you like it. Take one class and see if you like it. And I'm like, okay. Or assist one class and see if you like it. I'm like, okay. So I tried assisting one class, and honestly, I had the best time. Like, just helping, like, seeing those light bulbs pop out, like when once you know that people are getting the education and completely understanding what is happening in front of them, it's like a light bulb that goes off. Like, me seeing that in someone's eyes is just like, I love doing this. Like, I can't, it's so rewarding because it's like you just continuously see people, especially like coming from being in cosmetology school, you see people that's like where you were, and you see those light bulbs going off sooner from when yours went off. And it's like, I want you to be greater than me. Like, I can't wait for me to take your class one day or for you to teach me something. You get what I'm saying? Like, just seeing the progress of people as they're going through the same journey that you went through, is just very rewarding. So, um, needless to say, again, education was not a part of the plan, but it became a strong suit in me being in this career path for sure.
That's amazing. So what is this company that you work for that you love so much?
It is called PR at Partners. It is,
Yeah?
literally from the DMV area. We have locations in Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So if you guys are ever in the area, come see me for your haircut or
Yeah,
color.
I used to be at PR Partners too, and listen to you talk is reminding me of so many of the amazing things and people that are there. Okay, so yeah, so what was your first education experience? Was it teaching at PR Partners? Was it teaching at the hair school, or with Wella?
So it was teaching at PR Partners. So with the apprenticeship program, that's how I started teaching fast track. And I think you know a lot about that. 'Cause
Yeah,
we talked about that, but teaching fast track, the color portion of it. And from there, PR Partners then um built a cosmetology school and then offered me a position there. So then I moved to there, and then I decided to go after teaching with Wella.
awesome,
Yeah.
cool. Well, this is such an awesome story, and I think the big takeaway for me is um, it sounded like you were willing to uh, follow a path that was laid out in front of you.
Mhm.
And along that path, you were probably building relationships with people, gaining new experiences, showing yourself and your work ethic and your value to the company. You didn't just expect someone to see you as valuable. You definitely sound like you worked for it, and that turned into more and more opportunities opening up. So I think that's important. So in line with all of that, is there any, like, if anybody is listening, they're in school, or maybe they're working at a salon and they don't know what to do, but they need something else, and they're thinking about what's next, and maybe education has crossed their mind, or or maybe someone's wants to become a brand educator. Like, there are a few things here that you could speak to. Would you speak to one or all of them? And as we wrap up, to like last minute like advice or takeaway for any of those people.
I would say go after it. If you feel like it is something that is pulling you, you feel like you are being pushed towards it, it is a reason for that, and go after it. Okay. Do not ignore that feeling. Do not push it aside. Do not say, I don't know why I'm feeling that, why I'm even thinking about that. I've never tried it before. Everybody has started from the bottom in some way and worked their way up. Okay. So even if you've never tried it before, everybody that's doing something has always had that feeling of, I've never started it before, but they have taken that step forward and did it. and either it worked or it didn't, but you won't find out if it works for you until you try it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show. I really definitely want to have you on again. Something that the audience does not know, or maybe some do, is that you're pregnant.
Yes.
Yes. And when are you due?
April 7th.
Ooh, it's
Yeah.
soon. All
I got
right.
something. I don't know how this is about to work, but to figure it
I'm
out.
like, I might not get to talk to you for a while
No,
here.
please do. Please do.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I'll reach out. I'll keep in touch, and we'll have you on the show again. Again, maybe soon, maybe later. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to continuing our relationship.
Yes, me too. Thank you.